Hey everyone, Scott Hansen here from NFL Red Zone, and you're watching the Super Fantasy Bros podcast. 1 hour of commercial-free podcasting starts now. Enjoy the show.
Starting.
It is starting, and we're live.
All right, we are live. Welcome back to the Super Fantasy Bros podcast. The gang is back again for the second half of our podcast doubleheader. Q is back. If you did miss us yesterday, we went through our running back ranks, so you can check that out later on all platforms. But today, we will be getting into our wide receiver and tight end rankings. Start with tight ends, keeping it brief. Just going to talk about how early we would draft them, where we're targeting them, and then do some bold takes. And then get into wide receiver draft strategy, some discrepancies, and our favorite and least favorite targets. And as always, we'll finish up with some trivia from Q today. So, let's get into some tight end talk. Tight ends feel kind of a lot different every year, maybe kind of the same. This year, no exception. Last year was Kelsey and the rest. This year, Kelsey still being drafted higher. Last year, first round pick. This year, still the highest at, I think, late second round, and then right after him is Sam Laporta. What is the earliest you're looking to grab a tight end this season?
Round 5?
Yeah, I was gonna say 5th, 6th round, somewhere around there.
I'm a
So
waiter.
you're not taking Kelsey.
I feel
He's in
like
the
there's a lot of
third?
sleeper tight ends this year that I like.
Me too.
No, I mean, man, depends how my team's looking.
I'd rather have a quarterback round 3.
Yeah, I agree.
Fuck Kelsey.
I was
Fuck
preaching
Kelsey.
reaching on a quarterback this year, so if I have the opportunity in round 3 to grab a top 5 guy, I'm doing it.
Yeah, I mean, Kelsey's been falling a little bit in some mocks and stuff that I've done, so I'll gladly take him as it pushes towards late third, early fourth. The same with Laporta in that kind of same
way
range.
that far.
It probably won't, but that's kind of where I'm comfortable being like, all right, I'll be the first one to take one here. I don't want to be the guy reaching in the second at all.
Nah.
Is Kelsey your top tight end? Laporta's ADP is 26. Kelsey's is 22. Who do you prefer there at the top?
Still got
Laporta.
Kelsey at the top.
Q?
Laporta, of course.
Yep.
Did you not read my hot take?
I did not
you don't
yet.
have to. Oh, good.
It's hot.
Ooh. Oh.
Foreshadowing.
It is hot.
I still have Kelsey at the top myself. He's still Kelsey. Even last year in the down year, he was still like a couple points behind Laporta. So give me Kelsey still. I like both. I think you're splitting hairs either way. Like I
Washed.
said, probably not going to get either of them.
Yeah, I'm not splitting
Not
hairs.
washed.
Wash.
TBH.
Washed hair.
Washed my ass.
Thank God.
Finally.
PSA. Sean washed his ass.
All right, moving on. After those two, it's kind of a long wait until tight ends start coming off the board again. It goes Mark Andrews, Trey McBride, and Dalton Kincaid, all going in the same kind of area. Mark Andrews right at the end of the 4th, 47th. Same with McBride, 48th, and Dalton Kincaid at 50. How would you rank these three guys? Anyone here you like more or don't like at all? What do you think?
I like Mark Andrews more.
Are we factoring
Yeah, I
in
like Mark Andrews most. I would go Mark Andrews, McBride, Kincaid.
Yeah.
I just think the Bills still have Dawson Knox, who was decent for him in the past, so I don't think they're just gonna
Yeah,
completely get
but
rid of him.
that's all they have though.
Yeah, but I think that the Bills aren't gonna throw nearly as much as they have in the past. I think Josh Allen, James Cook are gonna run a lot. Obviously they're gonna pass when they have to, but I don't know.
Dalton Kincaid?
Give
I
me
just can't
Kincaid
trust
over
them.
McBride.
I'm taking McBride the highest out of these three,
I-
personally.
Christ.
The highest.
I wonder why.
He's a elite target for Kyler, first and foremost. If you
Mark
didn't
Andrews.
know why. Mark Andrews is also an elite target. I think they're on again, I'm taking both pretty much at the exact same spot, similar to where they're at. I have Trey McBride 3, Mark Andrews 4. I agree with Kincaid after them as well. I think McBride's upside's maybe just a little bit higher, a little bit less competition there. I think the Ravens, first and foremost, are going to be trying to run the ball, especially when they get in close now with Derrick Henry. Whereas the Cardinals are probably going to be behind in more games and passing more. So it's the only thing I gave maybe a little bit edge there for Trey McBride. Personally.
I get it. I
But how
get
about
it.
as Isaiah Likely? He obviously will play a factor as well.
Likely,
Yeah.
likely.
Oh
He
wait,
could
you,
also
wait,
be in the
I'm
mix.
helping Case. Never mind.
Yeah, you are. Thanks. Appreciate that. Moving on to the next two in ADP, maybe not our rank specifically, but George Kittle's going at 55, Kyle Pitts at 61st. Both of these guys come with their fair share of baggage issues, whatever you want to call it. Which do you prefer here, and do you even want either of these guys on your roster this season?
I prefer Kittle.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
I have Pitts
way
at
more.
10.
I got
Yeah.
Pitts at 11.
Yeah, it's fine.
Damn.
He shouldn't even
Yeah.
be ranked. I'm not touching him.
Yeah. Another one of those guys.
That's
that
exactly.
I'm gonna turn the blind eye on.
Yeah.
You back in on the Pitts hype?
Never was in it.
Yeah, all right.
I was never on the Pitts
No,
train.
you loved Pitts.
Hell no. No, I had what's his name last year, Jonnu Smith. He was head and shoulders above Pitts.
He
Yeah,
was.
Wow.
he was
What a
early on for sure.
saying.
What?
What a saying.
I know.
Pulled that shit out the back pocket.
Yeah, I definitely prefer Kittle here. I think the upside obviously is there for Kittle in games. He can win you a couple weeks, but he could also lose you a couple weeks. So he's a mixed bag. I probably don't love taking him, but at that spot, it's definitely worth it, especially the tight end as it gets
The
thinner.
Niners get rid of Ayuk. He will be number 2 again. So
Yeah, he could definitely climb up for sure if I gets out of town, which we'll talk about later for sure. Moving on, last year's tight end 2 and tight end 6 are currently being drafted tight end 8 and tight end 9. In the 6th and 7th round, Evan Engram and David Njoku, and then Jake Ferguson also trailing behind in the 7th. Who's your favorite target out of these three, and why do we think Engram's going so low after finishing tight end 2?
I don't have an
Um,
answer.
big game merchant, Evan Ingram. He is not good. Don't let the numbers
What?
fool you.
Yeah, I
You're
wouldn't
fried.
have-
You're bugging. I got him at 5.
Man, how many
Five.
catches do you
I'm
think Evan
all
Engram
in.
had last year?
Who are they throwing to?
74,
Higher.
93.
Higher.
No way he had over 100.
He had 114 receptions.
114 catches last year. Disgusting amount of
I
volume.
fucking hate Evan Ingram, so
Yeah,
I
I
don't
didn't
care.
think
Nothing
now-
you say is gonna sway my opinion.
He's gonna be better
Dude.
now without Ridley.
Yeah, I think
There's
it'll be
no
even better now
Ridley.
without Ridley. Like, yeah, maybe Ridley was helping with maybe some of the like coverages, so you might have a little bit of tougher there. But again, tight end 5 in 2022, tight end 2 in 2023. He's definitely my favorite in this range. If you're getting tight end 2 last year, tight end 8, ADP, I'll take it all day. Give me Evan Engram.
He's not finishing top 3 again, ever.
He's
We'll see
finishing
about
top
that.
5 this year.
Matt, I assume in this range you're targeting Njoku.
Yes, I fucking love Njoku. I
and
could have him
Yuki.
ranked 1.
I should have him ranked 1. That's where we'll be at the end.
I guess we'll see about that.
Nice.
Yeah, I think
Wait.
Ferguson also solid target there towards like the back end of the top 10.
Oh, yeah.
After these guys, we pretty much reach tight end no man's land. There is some value here. Like Brock Bowers obviously could have some good performances coming this season. Dallas Goedert, TJ Hawkinson coming off that major injury late last season obviously would be more of a stash, but still could obviously be good second half of the season there. Dalton Schultz, Pat Freiermuth, Cole Kmet, the rest. Are you comfortable missing out on the top 10 guys for a couple of these guys? What's your strategy if you're waiting to be the last tight end taker?
No, I feel like all the way down.
Hopefully
low.
nobody takes 2.
What? Oh yeah,
That's
then
my
you-
strategy. Hopefully nobody takes 2.
I
That's
don't know.
any strategy.
I'm not comfortable taking these guys. That's just
No,
me.
me either. I'm definitely getting one of the top 10.
Yeah. If I wait
Yeah.
this long, I have to take 2 of these guys, and like I'd prefer like
Yeah.
Goddard and Freiermuth, or
Well,
maybe
like,
grab
Schultz-
Hawkinson to stash.
Oh, Schultz down there. He'd be a good late pick outside the top 10.
Yeah, I'm just
Yes.
scared of his volume.
He's the best outside the top 10.
I'm just scared of his volume. I'm taking Goddard the best outside that top 10 there. Actually, I've Goddard at 10 in my ranks. So
I don't
So,
know,
not
I don't
outside.
know, dude. Eagles just don't use them. They be
I know,
pissing
and
me
he
off.
loves to drop the ball, fumble the ball.
I mean, he missed
Drop the ball.
games last year, finished tight end 14. I think he missed basically 4 games If you average out his play points per game basis, he was like top 8 last year. So I'll take Gotti. I'll take him.
Well,
I
they
might
got
take a shot
Alshon.
on Brock Bowers just because if for some reason I miss out on a top tight end, I think Brock Bowers is probably the best out of the later tight ends for the greatest amount of volume in the offense because I don't think the Raiders are going to be very competitive, and you got to throw it to someone else other than Devontae Adams.
Yeah, I agree. Any other tight ends deep in your ranks you're even looking at, or just at that point you're not even considering it?
Luke
No.
Musgrave might be a stash. He was
I think
good at
Musgrave and Kraft are both good. I just don't know which one's going to be good.
forgot about Kraft.
Gooder.
Taysom Hill. I'll snipe Taysom Hill last round.
Ew.
Ew.
He's
could be
ugly, but
decent.
he gets the job done sometimes.
Sometimes they be
Vince
mixing
started
him
over
in.
Josh Allen.
Yeah, insane. All right, let's do some tight end bold takes before we get into wide receivers. Q, you got the spice, so might as well take it.
Wait, can you actually? I can't find the tab where I have my information on it, so just skip me for now.
All right, we're skipping Q. Matt, tight end bold take.
Bold take, David Njoku finishes with over 1,000 receiving yards and finishes as a top 3 fantasy tight end. Last year he had 882 yards, and he really didn't get going until after week 6. After that, he had one game below 10 points. So, I mean, if you're getting double digits every single week from your tight end, you love that. And I just don't see. Obviously, the Browns are going to be missing Nick Chubb for a portion of the season. And outside of Amari Cooper, I'm not really sure who
Jerry
else they got to. Jerry Judy. Don't ever mention his name on this podcast.
Worst receiver ever.
Dog shit.
Worse than Kelvin
But-
Benjamin.
Yeah, I think Njoku's just in line for another big year, even bigger than last year.
Number 1.
Mm-hmm.
I think Joku could definitely have a good year. T-Gods, what do we got?
Literally just talked about it. Evan Ingram. Sorry, Matt. He's finishing top 3 again.
Dang.
I don't see why not. He was top 2
He's
last
doo-doo.
year. Top 2 last year, and they got rid of Calvin Ridley, so it's just even more targets coming his way. I mean, like, I don't. What else can you really say? 114 receptions, almost 1,000 yards, 4 touchdowns. I think that goes up more to like 6 or 7, and at least 110 receptions. Trust.
114 receptions is so crazy just to even like think about right now. Like Matt said 74. If you had asked me before I looked at it, I probably would have said like 80.
Yep.
Like
Nope, not
Like, I
even
wouldn't have-
literally not even close.
just eye test did not know he was
When
getting
was
that
he
crazy
that
volume.
good? Did I
Dude,
just
like,
miss
all
out
season.
on the
And he-
Evan
he-
Ingram?
He hasn't missed a game in 3 years, so like two full years he's played. So.
He had a
Since
couple
he started
games where it was
there.
like 4 catches, 30 yards, and that was like his worst games last year. And it was like
Wait.
maybe 3 of those.
Out of the last 4 years, he's missed 1 game.
Iron Man.
Wow.
Yeah.
He's him.
But
Injury
apparently he's a
history.
big game merchant.
Shut the fuck up, Q. Where do you have Evan Ingram on your ranks?
Let me tell you. I have him 6.
Nah.
I got him at 5. Top 5, baby.
where do
Wake
I-
up, man.
No, I have him at 11.
This disrespect is crazy. Top 5
I just
last
don't
2
think he
years.
does it again.
All right. Die on that hill. It's like when I hated Stephon Diggs. You'll wake up one day.
We'll see.
Guy on the hill.
All right, I'm gonna finish this up here. I said Pat Fryermuth will finally take on a larger role with the Steelers' offense this year. He's gonna score 8+ tuds, finish top 5.
Holy shit.
Steelers vacated a lot of targets. Obviously, Deontay Johnson was a big chunk there, but also like their wide receiver core has not been good in general. They really added like nothing. They added Roman Wilson, a rookie who's already banged up, and they added Van Jefferson and Quez Watkins. Like, come on, they're not doing anything. So it's literally going to be George Pickens, and who else? It's got to be Pat Fryermuth. He's going to get involved more in this offense. Last year he was banged up, missed half the season, but just 2 years ago he was tight end 8. Now he also has a more competent quarterback, Russell Wilson, Justin Fields. I don't care which one it is. I still think they're going to be way better than Kenny Pickett and Mitch Trubisky. So
I think that if you want Pat Fryermuth to be good, then you want Justin Fields as the quarterback.
I would agree. He's
Like
Fed
who?
commit more in the past.
Yeah, and what tight end has Russell Wilson really like?
He had decent years like Jimmy Graham. Yeah, that's about it.
And then like the three random tight ends that they had on Seattle, like Will
Yeah.
Disley, Parkinson.
Will Disley here and there. Yeah, they were not a big tight end using team, but I think with how shallow the depth is here, I think it's got to be Pat Freiermuth. Obviously, if they get Ayuk, that changes things, but I think Pat Freiermuth has the upside there. All right, let's move on to wide receiver ranks. Now that we've covered tight ends,
Take, brother.
What? Oh, I forgot Q. I skipped you. Go back. Back to tight ends. Forget that. Go.
Yeah, not realistic take. Travis Kelce finishes outside the top 5
Sheesh.
tight ends. Last year, he was only 0.4 ahead of Hawkinson, which would have put him at number 4. So why not put him at number 5
6.
or below? Yeah, so
Put him at 10.
Put him at 10.
he's just in love and he's fat.
He's too caught up.
Yep.
Drunk in love.
Proof in the pudding. Don't draft Travis Kelce. Don't draft him within the first 4 rounds.
Oh my God, 4.
He won't be able to. He'll be gone.
I'll take the risk on Kelsey if he falls to me.
Yeah,
I was 18 the last time.
There
He
is
was
no
in the top
risk
3.
in taking Kelsey. What are you saying?
I mean, if you reach, you feel like you reach a little bit, maybe.
Just don't reach.
I ain't reaching.
Let KR take him in the second. You know he's gonna.
He might take
he
him in
will.
the first.
Andrews in the third.
That'd be crazy.
If he takes him in the first, I might piss myself laughing.
Would be nuts. All right. Now that we've covered tight ends, let's move into wide receiver ranks. Let's start with draft strategy. How many wide receivers are you happy walking out of the first 3 rounds with? 1, 2, or 3?
3.
At least 2.
Yep. 2 for sure.
Bare minimum 2. I'm not leaving out of the 3rd round with 1 wide receiver.
Wow. All right. It's going to be a wide receiver heavy draft when we do our draft. I can already feel it. So.
I mean, if everybody starts taking them, I don't know.
Yeah.
My draft strategy always changes on draft day.
Of course. But yeah, when I've been doing mocks, I've also been leaning wide receiver heavy early. I'm not trying to be the guy waiting on wide receiver with taking risks at wide receiver 2. There's a lot of consistent talent at the top. I'd rather get one of them than wait and take some chances later. So
Yeah. I don't think there is a pick that I will not take 3 receivers first at. I think 3
interesting.
is how I'm going no matter what.
Key
Even if I'm
strategist
number 1.
locked in.
Number 1, I'm not taking. I might not take running back first overall.
No CMC. All in on wide receiver.
I have been thinking about that CMC 1 consensus.
You taking that CD or Tyreek there?
CD.
Brees.
Oh.
Wild. All right, let's get into our discrepancies. Not too much strategy drafting wide receivers. You got to draft like 6 of them. You need good ones. You need depth. So
Thank you,
Pretty-
Sean.
straightforward there. Justin Jefferson currently going wide receiver 4, 6th overall. I have him all the way up at 3. Matt T. God's right at wide ADP at 4. Q down at 6. So
Yeah, what's up with that?
Well, I did make this like right after the JJ McCarthy news. Maybe I'd move him. Maybe I'd move him up a spec. I'd probably move him up to 4 at least, with no
Okay.
Addison now. But like, I guess Sam Darnold's serviceable.
yeah, it was before the Addison news. A lot of Vikings news came out today. I think he's just going to get force fed still. He's still
Yeah.
arguably the best wide receiver. It's going to be a step down from Kirk, but the volume's probably going to be a step up without Addison and Hawkinson for the first part of the
My
season.
God.
It's just going to be feed
Yeah.
J. Jeff. So,
He's going to be munching.
yeah. He's going to get like 15. He's going to have Evan Ingram volume times 10. So,
That type. You're putting Evan Ingram name with Justin Jefferson.
114 catches is a lot. He might have led the league last year for all I know. But yeah, J. Jeff, he's locked in, top 5. I have him at 3. Just think he's just going to munch on volume. Next up, Devontae Adams, ADP wide receiver 10, 19th overall. Matt, all the way up at 7. T-God's 8, Q9, so you're all right above ADP. I am right below at 11. So I guess, Matt, T-God's, why do you love Addy so much this season? Pretty obvious, but...
Yeah, come on.
Yeah, I mean, it's Devontae Adams. Like I kind of hit it on earlier, there's not going to be much, if any, competition for targets. Still finished wide receiver 10 last year.
Minshew's
he's
nice.
just-
Minshew's a good
Minshew-
quarterback.
Yeah, if Minshew is the starter, Addy might finish top 5 again. Like, past 4 years,
Okay,
1,
that's
2,
good.
3, 10. So
Yeah.
I mean, he's just Mr. Consistency. Arguably one of the best receivers in the league still. Uh, yeah, just strictly volume is going to keep him relevant in the
You ever
top
see
10
Minshew's
of wide
picture on
receivers.
Sleeper?
He looks like a freak.
Dude, he looks like a. Oh, I wish it would focus. He's locked in.
Oh, that's a new one.
Yo, that's cool.
Yeah, he's crazy. I'm lower on Adams. I'm pretty much at ADP. I'm still taking him in the same range. I just think there's some guys maybe with more upside this year towards that top 5 potential. I think Adams is probably a safe bet for top 10 for sure. I just don't know if he's still got that top 3 in him on this Raiders offense. Is probably going to be pretty stinky poo poo. I don't really
Throwing a
love
lot.
Minshew. They are going to be
Ball
throwing a
out,
lot,
baby.
but I just think they're going to be also pretty bad. I don't know how long Minshew's leash is, and we're going to get more Aiden O'Connell, which we saw struggle again
He's
as
got
well. I don't love
You
it. I
kind
love
of
this
looks like
offense.
Aiden O'Connell.
I'll show you the guy that looks like Aiden O'Connell. Came up on my feed the other day.
That's the only thing
I
for
love
me,
that
but
dude.
I'm in the same range, so no major difference there. Let's move on to Brandon Ayuk, where we do have some big differences. Currently going wide receiver 17, 36th overall, and you all love this man. Man, all the way up at 10. T-God's 11, Q 15. I have him at 18, so I'm actually the closest to ADP, but also the lowest. Matt and T-Gods, again, why do you love Ayuk so much this year?
We've been loving Ayuk for the past couple of
For
years.
real. Like, Ayuk is the best receiver on the 49ers. I mean, kind of proved that last year, even though Debo still has his moments. Finished wide receiver 14. I don't know. And if he gets traded, he can become a true number 1 on a lot of NFL teams. So
Yeah.
target share volume is going to be insane mixed in with his talent, I think. Ayuk's going to go crazy whether or not he stays on the 49ers or not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he scores a lot of touchdowns.
Yeah, he does.
7, 8-ish. Why not 10?
Why not 10?
Why not 10?
I could see 10. I could see 10 in his future. I'm just a little bit closer to ADP. I don't hate him in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, you do.
You do
You're
a little
one
bit.
below ADP, so you
Yeah.
hate him a tiny bit.
All right, maybe like this a little bit much. He's never finished higher than 14, so I don't love pushing him too high in my ranks. If he's still going to be in San Fran, Debo's still going to be there taking away stuff, so Kittle as well. It's still a lot of mouths to feed. I think he finishes around 15 again, if it's the same scenario. Debo, ADP wide receiver 15, sticking with the same team. He's currently going actually a couple spots ahead of Ayuk. I assume that's probably because of all the trade drama and everything else. But Matt, you have him the highest with Q at 14, right above ADP. I'm below ADP at 17, and T-God's all the way down at 21. So T-Gods, I assume you hate Debo because you love Ayuk so much.
That's part of it, but also Debo has finished in the top 15 twice. He's had more than 60 receptions in a season once. He's involved in the run game, obviously, yes, but I don't know. I don't understand why people love him so much. Like the numbers,
yeah.
the numbers really aren't there. They're really not there. There's like,
Big play type bull.
I don't know why I have him at 14 either. I'll move him down to fucking 21. I'll
You
move him down to
should.
22.
He, like,
Just if Ayuk gets traded, he's gonna be a
sure,
target.
yes, okay. If he gets traded, then sure.
That's what I'm banking on. If Ayuk stays,
I just-
Debo is getting dropped down.
I think he's one of the most overrated players in the league for sure.
I'm taking Debo personally. I have him still lower than ADP, shockingly. It's close, obviously. We're splitting hairs, but at the end of the day, Debo finished wide receiver 15 last year and also missed 3 games and 1 spot behind Ayuk. Still was right there with them in terms of fantasy points. He's super involved in this offense in different ways than you would expect, end arounds, whatever else is going on. So I'll take the random options there and have these big 20, 30-point games that are going to win me some weeks. So I'll take the risk on Debo there as a mid wide receiver 2 for sure.
Mid.
Wide receiver 2. I'll take them. I think they're both wide receiver 2s personally.
They are. There's a little Ayuk.
All right, moving on. Nico Collins, currently going wide receiver 14, 31st overall. I am right there at ADP, shockingly the highest at 14. T got 16, Matt 18, Q 20. Who wants to explain why you all hate Nico?
Who
Don't
hates
hate on
Nico?
Just
You all do.
like
You're all below
everybody on
ADP.
that Texans team, so
There's
it's
a
going to
lot
be
going
hard
on.
to just
Especially
one
Q.
player is not going to be the focal point in that offense. As much
Nope.
as we want him to be, there's going to be weeks where it's Nico, weeks where it's Tank Dell. Joe Mixon might have another 4-touchdown game. God forbid. Diggs is obviously going to get his here and there. So
Schultz.
it's just going to be hard to tell which guy is going to be the true number one on that team because I feel like it's going to fluctuate week in and week out.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
Nico Collins.
Like
Luke.
you said.
Go ahead, Q.
Oh, I said what I said.
I didn't
Nico
hear you.
Collins, fluke. He doesn't have a wide receiver. A good wide
Fluke?
receiver name.
Who's
What
a
was he
fluke?
before last year? Actually, doesn't
He
even matter.
was okay.
He
Who's
was
a
wide
fluke?
receiver 12 last year.
No, the year before that.
Well, yeah, he was on a horrible team. They didn't have CJ Stroud. He had Davis Longneck Mills throwing the ball to him.
I don't know
Uh,
how I feel about him.
I wasn't a big Nico believer heading into last season. Obviously, he proved me wrong throughout the season. I was like, is this fluky? Is this fluky? Is this fluky? And then the more I watched him, it seemed like the talent was kind of finally shining through with Stroud. I think they have the strongest connection. Obviously, he was able to stay healthy last year, which hurts Tank Dell there. And Diggs coming in, learning a new offense as a 30-year-old wide receiver. I'll just take Nico there as the top for me. I still only have him at ADP, so not higher than ADP. I'm just taking him where he's being drafted. I like him at 14. All right, moving on.
Okay.
Amari Cooper, currently going wide receiver 25, 53rd overall. Q19, Matt 21, T-Guys 22, and I'm 28. T-Guys and I are the closest to ADP, but still kind of far apart.
28.
Why do you guys love Coop so much?
He only played 5 games with Deshaun Watson last year, but in those 5 games, he did average at least 100 yards and a great bit of the target share. So, and he did it with Joe Flacco. Deshaun Watson's obviously better than Joe Flacco, and Deshaun Watson will have to have a good season eventually. This will be the year. So, Cooper's still in his. He's still elite,
Yeah.
and I don't give a
love
fuck
Coop.
about Jerry Jeudy. It might help Cooper.
He could help Cooper. I do think there's a chance. I'm just not gonna go all in on this Browns team. I don't love it this year. I think Watson actually stinks at football now. I don't
No,
think
he
he's coming back. He has 2,000 yards over the last 3 seasons, if you include the season he sat out. It's now 2024. He hasn't been good since 2020 and COVID. So I'll stay far away from believing in Deshaun Watson's gonna, for some reason, be good this year. I think Coop's still going to get volume. I think he'll be fine as like a flex option. Obviously, can push towards low wide receiver too, but just think there's guys with more upside this year that I'd rather take personally. That's why I'm lower.
Deshaun Watson's gonna be singing, "Give me one more chance, just give me one more chance."
D-Watt, not my guy this year.
He's just horny, damn it.
He stinks. Malik Neighbors currently going wide receiver 24, 52nd overall. We're all kind of off the train a little bit. Q and T Gods at 26, Matt 28. I'm all the way down at 32. Daniel Jones is his quarterback. That's kind of my really main explanation here. He does have some aura with the beard. The beard's looking good.
He's gonna shave it,
If he shaves it,
and
he's going right back to Poopville.
back downhill.
Big bulgy eyes before he had the beard, the press conference.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think this is the best chance they've had at kind of making a young wide receiver like decent, obviously, especially with Saquon out. So now they kind of have to revamp this offense a little bit, but I don't know. I just don't see this Giants team being super talented moving the ball down the field. And he's already banged up a little bit, so I'll pass on Malik Neighbors personally. I assume you guys are kind of all in the same basket there.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
He will need to prove me wrong.
Yeah, same. I'll take him as a flyer, as a flex, but I'm not reaching where his ADP is climbing towards, and it might still keep going up. So
Yeah, let it
no,
keep going
thank
up.
you. Zay Flowers currently going wide receiver 26, 54th overall. So we're kind of staying in the same range here. I got him all the way up to 23. Q, you're at 27, right near ADP. Matt and T God's down at 30. Why do you guys not love Zay so much?
For the same reason you didn't really like Mark Andrews. I mean, Derrick Henry's there now, and Zay Flowers was supposed to be like really good, and he finished wide receiver 31 last year and only missed one game. So I mean, with that being said, plus Derrick Henry coming in, why really would I think he's going to do any better than he did last year?
Agreed.
Counterpoint, rookie season. So I'll say second year, he's learned the offense a little bit more, maybe a little bit more comfortable with Lamar.
Which can't learn it during the season or something.
You can, but I mean, it's not the easiest.
They need a
Experience.
film.
I think he's also kind of pretty explosive. I think 5 touchdowns last year might have been a little bit underselling it. I think you can bump that up towards 6, 7, maybe 8 at most. I just
Give
think
him
Zay
one more
Flowers still going to be
touchdown.
involved. So.
Well, you're forgetting that Russell Gage is now there, and he will become the wide receiver 1. He will become the wide receiver 1.
And they still got Bateman, who
Sucks.
has yet to do anything, so maybe
And
he'll do
Aggie.
something this year. Aggie, true number 1.
He's so washed. I can't believe he's still in the league.
Super Bowl
He's
champ.
nice.
He is Super Bowl champ. Never forget that. Zay Flowers, yeah, still probably most likely just going to be a decent flex there.
Yep.
Rashee Rice, currently going wide receiver 36, 81st overall. I've bumped him up to 27 in my ranks. Matt 36, Q38, T-Gods 40.
Is he getting suspended or what?
That's why I bumped him up at this point. As of right now, it seems like he's on track to play week 1. This could be like that Zeke situation where maybe it comes down mid-season. Maybe he plays through the whole season and it comes down next year. Hasn't met with the NFL, hasn't been interviewed about it at all since it kind of went down. So they're letting him practice. They're letting him play.
Brushing it under the rug.
It says he has 8 pending felony charges.
My
Yeah.
God.
You
It
think
was
I'd
a
be going to
crazy
work
accident.
tomorrow? Would I be going
but-
to work? No.
He's going to work. He's at practice. He's at camp. He's playing every day. So if Rashee Rice is on the field, I'm taking him. He was wide receiver 4 last year from week 12 on. So if he's on the field, he's Mahomes' number 1 option. He obviously was outperforming Kelsey down the stretch and in the playoffs. I'm taking Rashee Rice at above ADP right now and taking the risk. Worst case scenario, he gets suspended midseason. That sucks. But as right now, if he's playing week 1, I'm taking him higher. Risk baked in at all. At that point, 27, 30-ish, I'll gladly take him, take the flyer there, than take someone else who might not be as good, whatever.
Christian Kirk.
Yeah, I'll take a guy who's playing the whole season.
He might play the whole season.
Terry McLaurin. I'd rather take him.
Oh my
I
god, no
would-
way.
Let's play the whole season, damn it.
I'd rather have
bragging.
Rashee with a suspension.
I'll just treat it like almost like an injury risk, you know? Fuck it. Rashee with the suspension, I'll take it. Even he can win me 6 games to start the season. I'll take him around that flex area.
He's just gonna have the cases on his mind.
He's going to be munching. He's not going to care. The better he
got
plays,
murder on
the
my
less the
mind.
NFL's going to want to lay down the law.
Crazy.
They're going to want to try to forget about it.
Sucks.
Forget about it.
All right, moving on. Christian Kirk, currently going wide receiver 31, 70th overall. I got him at 26, Q30, Matt 31, T-Guys 32. You guys are all a little bit right around ADP there. I bumped them up for the same reason we bumped up Ingram. I just think there's more targets available in this offense with Calvin Ridley gone. The Jaguars are kind of forgotten now that the Texans are so good. Christian Kirk 2 years ago was wide receiver 11. I don't see why he can't be wide receiver 25 without
Davis.
Ridley there. Gabe Davis absolutely sucks. So he's poor man's Calvin Ridley at best. They did add Brian Thomas. I think he might be involved as well, but still think Christian Kirk's going to be 1B option to maybe Evan Ingram 1A or other way around.
Do they still have
So-
Marvin Jones?
They do not.
Did they have him last year, or am I a year off?
I think you're like 2 years off now.
No way. Where was he last year?
I think he went back to the Lions for a
Yeah,
year.
I think he was on the Lions.
And he was released 10 months ago.
10 months. Someone signed that
He's so
Released
washed.
from Prison.
man. What?
But yeah, I'll take
I
Christian
don't
Kirk there. Another one, we all kind of like him here, Jaden Reed. Currently going wide receiver 35, 80th overall. Matt and Q are the lowest at 34. T-God's 31, I'm at 30. T-God's, I'll let you take this one. Why do you like Jaden Reed this season?
Because I'm slowly buying into the fact that Jordan Love is him.
Yes, sir. We'll come
He
to
is
the
kind
dark
of him.
side.
He's pretty good. And Christian Watson broke my soul last year because I had so much of my season riding on him, and he fell through for me. So I do think Jaden Reed is the number one. And Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Yeah. I agree. I'm all in on the Jaden Reed train as well. I do think he's going to be probably the best chance to be that number one wide receiver in this offense, and they're going to pass a ton. So give me the shares of Jaden Reed at 30 all day as well. And last but not least, Tyler Lockett. Had to throw him in here. Currently going wide receiver 50. I knew T Gods was going to be high. Up at 38. You and Matt 45. I'm at 46. So we do all like him better than ADP. But T Gods, why do we love Tyler Lockett still?
Because
After
he's
disappointing you.
what?
Because he wasn't wide receiver 2 last year, or whatever. It was like a lock every year. Last year he stunk.
I know he did stink last year, but he still is super reliable with his health. Some people don't like that he just goes down after he catches the ball, but I personally love that for fantasy because like that's one less thing you have to worry about because so many receivers get hurt. But yeah, Lockett. He only had 5 touchdowns last year. He usually gets between like 8 and 10 for the past like 5 years before that.
Getting
So
old.
he's getting old. He's 31, but look at Keenan Allen. He's 32, and he just finished wide receiver like 8 last year. So, I mean,
know.
he can still do it. Like he's had an off year, and that's fine. I'll take health and like him being like a flex over like a high end wide receiver 2 and him like getting hurt. I don't know. He's just so reliable. He's so reliable, and if you can get him at if you can get him at wide receiver 50, that's the biggest steal ever.
Yeah, definitely like him as a late round target there. I agree.
Please be the quarterback, Sam Howell.
I'm just a little lower. I think they get JSN a lot more involved this year in that Seahawks offense.
Forgot about that fucker.
Yeah, that's the only thing that scares me too. I do have JSN a little bit higher, but I think both are still going to be valuable there. I don't know how much they're ready to be like, all right, Tyler Lockett, you're washed. We're not going to use you anymore. Like, I still think he's got something left in the tank. He still had 80 catches last year, pretty much. So that's pretty much on par with his volume. He just wasn't getting the deep balls and touchdowns as much as he had been in the past. So I think he can bump back up in that category. I agree, T-Cuts.
Woo!
All right, let's move on to some targets. A quick question in the chat. What do we think about Josh Jacobs, boys?
Love him.
Love him.
Like him.
Where do I have him? I don't even know where.
Low end RB1, high end RB2.
Yeah, where do I got?
I got him at 10.
10 upside. So
I got him at 10.
Yeah.
That's my guy.
Yeah, I got
On
him
a
at
great
12.
offense. 10 plus touchdowns. And he
Fringe
will get his
RB1.
first receiving touchdown this year.
No
It
way
will
he
happen.
has 0.
He has
he has
0.
0.
That is insane.
Wild. All right, let's do some favorite targets here. So, favorite wide receiver 2, favorite flex, favorite late round target, and then one wide receiver you're trying to avoid in drafts. Some of them we might have already touched on, so let's just get started. Q, wide receiver 2, what do we got?
Yeah, we touched on him, Amari Cooper. Like I said, 5 games he played with Deshaun Watson, I think he averaged 15 points a game. And even when he didn't have Deshaun Watson, where maybe Deshaun Watson will be hurt again this year, whether it's PJ Walker or whoever the fuck, who's the
I
other
think they
guy?
got a decent backup. Did they? Oh, they got Winston now.
Oh my God, yeah.
He's been starting.
Break. Yeah. So that's just more the reason why he should be drafted as a top 20 receiver. Because I mean, he was like your chip winner last year. He was like the MVP of the chip with the 50 burger. I think that was the chip.
Yeah, it was either the chip or the week before.
I think it was
So-
the week before, but it was my chip, and I had Joe Flacco, and my opponent had Amari Cooper, and I got shit on.
Yeah, Coop went nuts that week. Big game merchant. I'm just kidding. T Gods, wide receiver 2.
My wide receiver 2 is being drafted as a flex. No. Super low end wide receiver 2, which is very odd to me. Devontae Smith.
Smitty.
The past 2 years
Love
he's had 7 touchdowns. He's had over 1,000 yards the past 2 years. At least 80 receptions the past 2 years. He's just, and the whole offense is great. I mean, the upside is there. Like, yes, AJ is like the number 1, and we have Saquon now. He's going to take a couple touchdowns, but I think we're just going to keep scoring. We're just going to keep scoring, and Smitty's going to get his. He always does. Skinny Batman. Wide receiver 2.
Love that guy. Slim Reaper.
Yeah, gladly take Smitty where he's going right now. Matt, wide receiver 2 target.
Wide receiver 2, talked about him earlier. Brandon Ayuk. I kind of got into this. I had him ranked at 10. Right now, I believe he is going wide receiver 16, according to Fantasy Pros. Finished wide receiver 14 last year. Obviously, one spot ahead of Debo. I think he is the better receiver on this team. And especially if he gets traded, most likely wherever he goes, he will be the true number one. So, regardless, I think Ayuk's going to have a great year. A lot of volume coming his way. So, I'm excited to see.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. That's a good one, Matt.
Thanks.
All right, wide receiver 2. Saw this one coming. Touched on him a little bit, maybe talking about early on. DJ Moore,
Original.
Sorry.
Boo.
96 catches, 1364 yards, 8 touchdowns last season. Finished wide receiver 6 with Justin
gamer.
Fields, Tyson Badgett. That also had only 3 games below 9 points, so big game merchant, my left nut. Give me all the shares of DJ Moore at his current ADP of wide receiver 22. This man is going 44th overall. As a Justin Fields truther, even I know Caleb Williams is going to be an upgrade for the passing offense this year. I do think adding Keenan Allen definitely could hurt, but age 32, missed the end of season, banged up last year, also gained 20 pounds this offseason.
Eddie.
Give me DJ Moore still to be the number 1 here at least, and I'll gladly draft him. Even if he regresses 10 spots to wide receiver 16, he's still going to finish 6 spots above where you're going to be able to grab him. So give me DJ Moore as a wide receiver 2.
Maybe
Take them.
Tyson Badgett was his quarterback.
Nah, Caleb Williams is going to be just good enough.
Your mic couldn't pick up that.
Broke the
Alright,
sound barrier.
Back to you for your flex target.
Oh man.
Flex,
Oh
gonna be
man.
Terry McLaurin.
Oh.
The definition of inconsistency, and for some reason he was only good last year when they brought in Jacoby Brissett like mid-game. Then he just go dummy. But obviously they have a better quarterback now, Jaden Daniels, and a little more of a balanced offense because I guess they had a run game last year, but that's why it's the flex option because you still can't trust him. But he does have the ability to have those big games and be a little. He's been consistent once before, but
He was pretty decent last year. It just wasn't like the boom wasn't there, but I agree the boom can definitely be there this year.
So yeah, I think Jaden Daniels is definitely going to be a big upgrade for him. He had
I like
Wentz
it.
and then Sam. Well, I'm not Wentz.
No, shit on
Yeah,
Wentz.
Sam
Shit
Howell.
on
Yeah,
Wentz,
Shit on
please.
Wentz. Shit on Wentz.
he had. I'm about to say it again. He had Howell and then Brissett, and I don't know who was the year before that.
He had a little bit of Wentz the year before. That's
Yeah.
when he was the best though. So you can ride that take.
Oh yeah, there you go.
He
Bring
was
back
wide
Wentz.
receiver 14 in 2022. So. All right,
You reading
moving
that
on.
question? You reading that question?
Ooh, question in the chat. Number
yeah.
6 spot, ESPN PPR mock draft, 12-team league. Would you take Amon-Ra or Brees Hall if they both fell to you?
Taking him
Son
on.
God.
I'm taking him on all day long.
I think they're both going to fall to you in most drafts. I think this is where I start to consider Brees, but I agree. I think I'd take Amon-Ra. I just want that wide receiver there, the elite
Safer.
wide receiver.
Yep.
Q, what do you think there? Same?
Yes.
All right. T-Gods, back to you. Flex target.
My flex target is Mr. George Pickens. Last year he
Oh.
What? What?
I love George Pickens. Q hates.
Why?
He's so bad at football.
He thinks
Dude,
he's
he had
bad. It makes
Bro.
no sense.
he had
promise you,
63 catches on 1,100 yards.
He's a beast.
I promise he's bad.
Over 18 yards a catch. You're bugging. And he gets no matter who starts at quarterback is an upgrade. So yeah, I mean,
I agree.
and they got rid of Deontay Johnson. There's like, bro, who else? What other? Who's catching the ball on that team besides him and Muth? Calvin
Nobody.
Austin. He was like
Quez.
he had one good game last year.
Quez,
And
shut
for-
up, Quez.
Not
He already
Quez.
fumbled.
Not Van
Preseason.
Jefferson. Quez is getting cut. I promise you, Quez is getting cut.
We'll bring him
Yeah,
And
back.
probably will.
Van Jefferson is but George Pickens. I'm all in. Possibly top 20. He
I
was
agree.
26 and a half PPR. And that was with 60 catches.
Yeah.
Mm.
Love me some George Pickens as well. Good flex there. Matt, flex, who you taking?
Next, I am taking Tank Dell. The
Mhm.
beginning of last season before he got hurt, this man was a monster. In games that he played, over 50% of the snaps, he averaged damn near 20 fantasy points a game. Obviously, they brought in Stephon Diggs and still have Nico there, but like I said earlier, I think the one on this team is going to fluctuate week in, week out, but I think Tank Dell is probably the best big play threat on that offense. So obviously we saw that in the preseason already. And I don't know. The more I talk about him, the more I'm falling in love with Tank Dell this year.
Yep, that's my next jersey for sure.
He could be nice. I definitely agree there. All right, my flex is Christian Kirk. Played in 9 games last season where he played 70% of the snaps. In those 9 games, he averaged 15.1 fantasy points per game. Be right wide receiver 18 behind Pittman, Devontae, and Ayuk. Ridley's gone. It's been replaced by the lesser Gabe Davis. Offense is going to run between Kirk and Ingram, as we talked about earlier. So give me the wide receiver 11 from 2 years ago at wide receiver 31 all day for my flex.
Yep. Fine.
Q, back to you. Late round target. I
Uh,
like this one.
The best receiver on the Chargers, Josh Palmer, late round target. When he was good last year when Mike Williams was out, averaging what's it say? I wrote it down. At least 11 points per game, and when Justin Herbert, Keenan Allen, and Mike Williams were all out, when we had Easton Stick throwing the ball, he was still averaging about 12 points per game for what I guess was like 4 or 5 games. So clearly, he is the most talented. I don't know why he's not being talked about at all. But as long
Me
as Justin
either.
Herbert's healthy, because I don't know who they're. Hopefully, it's not Easton Stick.
Might be.
He could be like an extreme, like dark horse, top 30 guy.
I think nobody just nobody wants to talk about that offense.
Yeah.
It's an ugly offense
Boring.
over there.
Boring.
Yeah, Palmer's kind of proved it over the last couple seasons. When he's got the opportunity, he's been able to prove it. So I like it. T-Gods already talked about this one. Still like it as a late round target. What do we got?
Yes, Tyler Lockett going at wide receiver 50 for some crazy reason. Of the past 6 years, he's finished outside of the top 15 once. That was last year, so I mean, the trend is going downwards, but it's never too late to pick it back up. Tyler Lockett is super reliable. He will be healthy for you all year, and you will never have to worry with him in your lineup.
I like it.
Thanks.
Matt, light round bull.
All right, I'm going opposite of Q, the true number one on the Chargers, and that is Lad McConkey. Chargers desperately need a spark on offense. They just got rid of all of their playmakers basically, and Keenan, Mike Will, and Eckler. So their defense is Swiss cheese, so they will be throwing every single game. Justin Herbert doesn't shy away from that either, and I think Justin Herbert still has the arm talent to complement the receiver talent that McConkey has. So I expect him to come out of the gates as the number one on this offense and just continue to prove it throughout the year.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I agree.
Lad.
Obviously, Quentin Johnston sucks.
Fuck him.
Yeah, he
Fuck
stinks.
it.
All right, I'll wrap up the late targets here with Keon Coleman. Self-explanatory, the Bills let everyone walk in that wide receiver room. Diggs and Gabe Davis and all of their targets are gone. Khalil Shakir, Curtis Samuel, I think they're both kind of okay wide receiver 2s, but I'll take the rookie with the most upside at ADP of wide receiver 44 right now, 101st overall. Josh Allen's consistently hit 4,000 plus passing yards, pushing 4,500 pretty much every year. So even if he takes a step back, throws for 4,000, they got to go somewhere. Diggs and his consistent 1,200 plus yards are gone. Gabe Davis and his up and down 800 yards, whatever the heck he finishes with, is gone. So give me Keon Coleman. I think he can easily push towards 800, if not more, receiving yards just in this rookie year, and you're getting him as your wide receiver 4, wide receiver 5.
Yep.
Juicy.
Yeah, boy.
Now, one wide receiver you're avoiding. Q, start us off.
I'm avoiding rookie Malik Neighbors specifically because where he's being drafted, the guys that are being drafted like around him, being drafted after him. Just the first one is Amari Cooper, T. Higgins, and George Pickens, Tank Dell. And he's being drafted one spot under Devontae Smith, which is crazy just for Smitty, but way too high. I don't know what, like he's good, I guess, but look who's throwing the ball. Beard or no beard, it's still Daniel Jones. Can't trust him.
Yeah. AP is getting out of control for Neighbors. T-Gots, who are you avoiding there?
I know I'm in the minority here, but I'm avoiding Debo.
Not
He's
Deeps.
of his 5 years, he has finished inside of the top 32 twice. Um, and yes, like some years he was injured and all, but that kind of just proves my point even more. He's a huge injury risk. And if Ayuk's there, I definitely don't like it. If he goes, I will change this a bit, but I can't get behind the Debo train. I think he's overrated. I know I'm wrong. Well, I know, you know what I'm trying to say. I know that I'm being looked at a little weird, but I think Debo is really overrated
Yep.
As a receiver.
as a
Stand on
receiver.
that
Yeah.
hill. Stand on that hill.
I'm
Defend your
standing.
take.
I'm standing.
Matt, who are you avoiding at wide receiver?
I am avoiding Stefan Diggs. Sorry, Q, but started off last year great. And after week 9 on, he only surpassed 10 plus fantasy points in 2 of those games. So obviously took a step back in the second half of last season, and now he went from being a true number one with Josh Allen throwing him the ball to a Texans offense where they have weapons everywhere. So it's not a guarantee that he's going to get his 8 to 10 targets week in, week out, which we kind of banked on him doing the past few years. So I'm just tempering expectations. I honestly like both other Texans wide receivers more than him. So unfortunately, he's got to be the odd man out.
Such a
You're
weird thing to
screaming at the
say.
clouds right now.
I know. It's all right.
It's true though.
It is.
I'm kind of out
He's
on
the best
Diggs
receiver
too.
On that team, damn it.
Huh?
He's the best receiver on that team.
Yeah, historically. He's kinda
Not
like,
anymore, bro.
Yeah, ageist.
I'm the biggest ageist when it comes to wide receivers. As soon as I get 30, I'm like, I'm done. I don't want to play with you anymore. Toy Story meme.
You didn't have to explain it.
All right, just making sure. I know we're all Toy Story stands here. Anyways, my avoid Rome Adunze, this year's JSN. JSN was the first wide receiver, I believe, drafted in the 2023 real draft. Was an afterthought, obviously, with Metcalf and Tyler Lockett ahead of him. Finished wide receiver 48. I think Adunze finds himself in a pretty similar situation behind DJ Moore and Keenan Allen, both well-established and respected veterans, combined with Cole Kmet over the middle. I'll just pass on Odunze for this season. We'll see what he can do in the future, but I don't think he's going to break into too much of a target share this year.
I agree.
Yep.
All right, let's do some wide receiver bold takes. Q, do you have one ready?
No.
All right, moving on to Matt.
Bold take. Hit me out of nowhere. All right. Cooper Kupp will claim his throne as the Rams number 1 and finish above Puka Nacua this season.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
We know Puka Nacua finished number. I feel like I'm just bashing Q this episode. My
He said,
fault, Q.
shut up.
Obviously, Puka had a great rookie year, finished wide receiver 4. Cooper Kupp missed some time, but kind of caught his groove again towards the end of last season. After week 13, he was averaging right around like 17, 18 fantasy points a game. If he just took this offseason to get healthy, just get his legs back under him, he is going to be coming out with a chip on his shoulder. And Q looks like he's fuming over there. I see him shaking. But yeah, Cooper Kupp taking that wide receiver 1 role back. Sorry, Puka. Or should I say Fluka?
Yo, Fluka Cup.
Ooh.
All right, let's flip it back to Q because he just came up with his own.
Yeah, Puka finishes over Cooper Cup.
Not even bold.
Oh, yeah. No, it's both if you're in Matt's brain.
It is bold.
All right, I like it, Q.
Best rookie wide receiver ever. Look it up.
All right,
Literally.
T-Gods, moving on to you. What is your wide receiver bold take?
I'm sorry, Sean, but Keenan Allen is going to come in and finish over DJ Moore. No Diddy. So last year, Keenan had 12 more receptions than him. That's the only thing he did better in. But he only finished 2 spots. He only finished 2 spots behind DJ Moore, and he only played 13 games when DJ Moore played every single game. So why not? I mean, if he kept that pace last year, Keenan finishes over DJ Moore. I don't think it's that bold. I don't think it's that bold. Yes, you did say Keenan gained 20 pounds, but that's fine. It's all muscle. It's all muscle, and DJ Moore is trash.
Would Sean really be upset though? Because those are like his two guys. So they just
No, I wouldn't be that mad. I like both. I just think DJ Moore's still gonna be the 1A at least in the situation. But I do think it's a possibility. Can't rule it out. You're not wrong there. The numbers don't lie.
I'd rule it out.
All right, moving to my bold take. Deontay Johnson finishes as a top 20 wide receiver for the second time in his career. We know he has the ability to get open and eat up targets. He's done it in the past. He did finish, I believe, wide receiver 8 one year. I think that was his peak. Maybe a little bit lower. I might be piping him a little bit. Nope, wide receiver 8 in 2021. I know it was a little bit ago, but if he's able to stay on the field here, Bryce Young, we saw him feed old man Adam Thielen 100,000 targets last year, and Adam Thielen finished wide receiver 17. Adam Thielen's now 94 years old, so give me the younger Deontay Johnson they traded for. It's going to be the go-to guy when Bryce Young has a blitzer in his face within 5 seconds from that horrible offensive line. So Deontay Johnson, 8 catches a game, and he'll get to top 20. Book it.
Bryce Young has to be good then.
He didn't have to be good last year for Thielen to finish 17. All right. That is it for the wide receiver tight end rankings portion of this episode. We are not fully done. We will be doing some trivia. If you're obviously here with us live, follow us on Twitch. We also post all these episodes on YouTube, so make sure you subscribe over there as well. Listen, Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your podcasts, like, rate, review 5 stars. Helps us a ton there. And as always, you can follow us on social media, Super Fantasy Bros on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok. Just search us. You will find us.